are in the segment where we will be applying the technique of some frying. The frying techniques we'll be using here are pan frying and saute. Now, saute is indeed a cooking method of its own, but it can indeed fall within that dry heat cooking method of frying, as it involves a small element of fat in the preparation of our items. How are we going to utilize these techniques? We're going to use these techniques by putting together a delicious dish, a one-pot dish called a frittata. Frittata is not Barbadian in origin, it is indeed Spanish, but absolutely delicious, and it's a wonderful dish for breakfast as well as for brunch. Quick and delicious. So let's get to making our frittata. So as you can see, we have our mise en place all in place. All the mise en place is in place. So we have our vegetable preparations. My lovely fine dice of onions that we did in our earlier segment. Our julienne of peppers, and you see I have a lovely color of green, orange, green, and red. Our fine dice of garlic. And we have some pre-boiled sweet potato, okay? Now in our boiling segment, you will see how we boil potatoes. That will be in our boiling segment. Part of my mise en place is also I'm going to be using olive oil, not extra virgin olive oil, because I'm going to be applying heat. We're using regular olive oil. We have some good old margarine, which is going to add additional flavor to our dish. Salt, of course, and pepper, our universal seasoning. Can't live without it. Cheese, and then the main part of our dish, our eggs. I want to just show you very quickly how we break eggs. There's a method to breaking your eggs that's safe. All eggs in a crate does not suggest that they are fresh, okay? You can have a 1 or 2 or a crate of adult eggs. If I have fresh eggs, like what I already have broken in this bowl, and I go and put a rotten egg, also called an adult egg, the whole batch has to be discarded. What a waste. Money down the drain. So you are required to crack your eggs individually before you put it to your batch of eggs. So I have my eggs. And what am I going to crack my egg with? I'm using my paring knife. So you see how versatile your knife is and how important your knife is. And even in this application, it needs to be sharp. Because when I take this and I knock my egg, I want to get an even cut to that egg. Break that egg, separate bowl, into the garbage, and we have a lovely fresh egg. The yolk is intact, the white is lovely and transparent, lovely fresh egg, straight in. One more time, egg, knife, quick cut, open, drop. No eggshells, fresh egg, in. Whisk. So part of my equipment mise en place, I have a whisk. This is a balloon whisk. I have a spatula, and I have a special spoon. So you might be used to a wooden spoon, but as we go along in the industry where we pay more attention to safety, we are moving to more utensils that are silicone made. This is resistant to heat and it's non-porous. So bacteria, when I wash this, it doesn't remain wet. So just like stainless steel items, rubber silicone like this, we can wash them, dry them, and it will not stay wet, where a wooden spoon stays wet for quite a long time. As a result, it can collect bacteria. So in the industry, we're moving more towards our food safety utensils. So let's make our frittata. So in my mise en place, I'm going to whisk my eggs. And this is the technique you would apply when you're using a whisk. So I am whisking, okay? I am beating these eggs. When I'm whisking, this whisking, I want to get air into the egg mixture. So to do that, you have to pick up and whisk. A whisk has another purpose where you can use it for stirring, but stirring doesn't give me air. I want to get air, so whisk. Keep it in the bowl. Don't throw it out the bowl. You control the whisk, all right? And you control the contents. At this stage, I'm going to season. Pinch of salt. No, eggs do not require a lot of salt, okay? They carry seasoning very quickly. Eggs completed. So now we are going to move over to the stove and we're going to start our pan frying, and then we're going to do our saute and we're going to create our frittata. For safety, my fires are not on. We will turn them on as you are ready to start to cook for safety, okay? You never turn your heat on and have your pan on. You can see in terms of my cooking equipment, for my mise en place equipment, I have my 8-inch saute pan and I have a cast iron pan. Americans call it a skillet, and we stick to our cast iron pan. And this cast iron pan is what I'm going to be using to make our frittata. Our frittata is going to involve another dry heat cooking method of baking. So it's going to start on the stove top and then it's going to move to the oven. So first things we want to do is saute our vegetables. Saute, French, from the verb sauter, meaning to jump. So let's start. Turn on our heat. Apply my oil. And I'm using a mixture of 2 types of fats. I'm using the olive oil, not extra virgin olive oil. And I'm also going to use a bit of butter. Once you are doing a quick cooking application like sauteing, once you're using just olive oil, not extra virgin. Extra virgin olive oil is not suitable because it's closer to its natural form and it will burn very quickly. It's not good for heat. This has gone through further processing, so therefore it has more tolerance for heat. My spoon stands still. So you control the heat doesn't control you. I am just melting down my butter. You can see those lovely little bubbles and literally just enough fat to coat the bottom of the pan. This is sauteing. First things first, I'm going to add on my onions. You control the heat. I do not want any color on my onions. I add my garlic. To jump, to jump, to jump, to jump. It's okay, students. You don't have to do this. It's all right. Stick to your spoon. Peppers, very quickly. I want to keep the integrity of my peppers, okay? So you see I took the pan off the heat because that's me controlling the heat on my pan. I'm using the conduction that's currently in the conducting heat that's through the pan just to give those peppers some color. And those are my vegetables sauteed. That's it. To the side. Now we're going to pan fry. What are we going to pan fry? Our potatoes. So we have applied our olive oil. We've applied some margarine. So these are all called fats. Margarine versus butter. Margarine is made from your vegetable oils, while your butter is made from your milk solids, okay? Big difference. Pan frying. So I just want enough fat to cover the base of my pan. And now I'm going to add my potatoes. Now these potatoes, I said, are already boiled. So breakfast cooking, quick cooking. You have some potatoes there left over from yesterday or whatever the case may be. Use the potatoes in your frittata. All I want to do with these potatoes is I want to just get a little color on them, just a little bit. I'm going to turn them over. And again, this is breakfast cooking really quick. And everything is going to build on top of these potatoes now. So you can see that there's just enough oil that I can get the color I want on these potatoes. It's not submerged in oil. It's not halfway submerged in oil. Just enough oil to get color. Versus the saute, which I had very limited oil, just so that I can start to pull the flavors out of my vegetables. In my mise en place, I have my tongs. Let the oil do its job. Don't keep pushing at the food all the time. The whole point of dry heat cooking is to attain color. Color is flavor. You will not get this from moist heat cooking. So when we go to the segment that speaks to dry heat cooking, you will get more understanding into what flavors and colors and textures you want to achieve according to the cooking technique you're using. Dry heat cooking, color and texture. See that? And you can see that there's no consistency to my potato for this frittata because it was cooked, some broke apart, but that's the great thing about the frittata. The frittata is just a simple base of some potatoes, and of which you don't have to add potatoes either. You can make a frittata without potatoes. Huh? I just want to break him a bit. Good. Wonderful. So we have to watch our heat. Cast iron conducts heat very quickly. Safety. So in the industry, that's where you see me with a towel. The handle gets hot, so you want to have them available for you so you can handle your pan. I'm going to turn down my heat. I'm only using the conduction to continue to brown my potato. Because on top of this now, I am going to add our whisked eggs. So I just want to add additional air into this. Straight on, so you see I'm off the heat, right? My spatula is for scraping all of that egg in. See how much egg that is? That's a whole egg. Cost, right? In it goes. See, our egg is starting to form around here. I'm going to put it over a very low heat, just very low, because it's going to start to cook from the bottom, but we are going to bake this. From here, I'm then going to add in my vegetables. Now, is there a wrong way or right way to creating your frittata? Should I put the vegetables in first and then the egg on top, then the vegetables? It doesn't matter. That's the great thing about a frittata. You can add your vegetables in at the bottom. You can add them into the top. I want to put them to the top because I want some of those colors for my peppers coming through. And from there now, we will top with cheese. Remember, cheese has salt, so that's where you limit the amount of salt in your egg. And now, we're going to bake our frittata. So baking, another dry heat cooking method, where you take an item and it's placed into an oven or any other piece of equipment that uses convectional heat, heat that circulates throughout the air, so that we can bake our frittata. Okay, so we are putting our frittata into the oven, but safety first. You can't open the oven while your hands are full. So put the frittata down, come to your oven, make sure it's not hot. Good, pull. You're going to get an heat is going to push at you, so you want to stay on the outside of the doors, okay? Good. Open, safety, so always fully open your doors. In goes our frittata. I am short, so I've placed it on the lower shelf. Because it's a convection oven, we're fine. The heat is evenly distributed. Close, make sure it's completely closed. So we wait for our frittata now to bake. How do we know it's finished? It's going to have a very light coloring on the top of a brown color. Our cheese will be melted and our frittata eggs will rise and our frittata will be completed.